Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. So today, I hope you're having a really good day. It seems to be such a beautiful day out, but I like every day, even if it rains, it's beautiful and sunny, it's wonderful, but I love this season. Spring is wonderful. And what came to mind when I was thinking about spring and the show today, I thought I just want to have a conversation with you directly about your thoughts create your reality. Have you ever heard that saying before? You probably heard this saying before, but have you ever wondered what it really means? Michael, what do you think? Your thoughts create your reality.
Basically, your attitude has a lot to do with certain outcomes in your life, how you think and your mindset and how important it is, your mental standpoint on everything. And it becomes your reality a lot of the time, how you feel.
Yeah. Have you ever gone, oh my God, this is going to be a bad day? And sure enough, it was.
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah, that's your thoughts create your reality. And we have the opportunity every moment to change that feeling, to change that reality, to change our day, to switch it from being a bad day to a good day, just by really thinking better thoughts. So maybe you haven't heard it summarized, but and maybe you have heard it summarized like this, but if you have happy thoughts, you will have a happy life. So, and sure, that's generally true, but it's also pretty simplistic. So because it's not so much about thinking happy thoughts, it's about how you see yourself and the world around you. It's about the goals you visualize yourself achieving and the reality you dream of creating and the stories you tell yourself that determine how you show up in the world. And we use this catchphrase all the time on the show. It's my catchphrase, which is show up for you and show up big. That's what I mean, is you really can create how you show up in the world. Most of all, it's about understanding that you have the power to change those stories at any time. Like I was saying before, you have the power to visualize a better reality for yourself, and you have the power to tell yourself that you can do it, that you are meant to do it, and that the universe actually wants you to do it. And you have the power to always assume the best instead of the worst and see setbacks and failures as opportunities they really are. But to change your stories, first, you must become aware of them. So you can't change something that you're not aware you're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we have to really become aware of them. In other words, you must become more mindful, because that's what mindfulness is. Conscious awareness of your thoughts that aren't serving you and replace them with more positive ones that will help you get the results you want. In the coming year, I will be sharing very effective mindfulness practices that will help you make the necessary mindset shifts that will help you manifest your desired reality. The best part of these habits don't take a lot of time, just a commitment to yourself. And that's something that we have to remember to do, is make commitments to ourselves, more so than anything else. So have you ever thought about spring cleaning your mind? And this is why I was thinking about it, because it's a beautiful spring day and we're in the beginning of spring, and spring cleaning your mind came to mind. So I'm talking about taking the time to examine your own thoughts and identify the ones that are holding you back from showing up as your best self. So you can sweep them out of your mind and replace them with positive thoughts like sparking joy, as Marie Kondo would say. This will give you confidence and motivation you need to achieve your goals. And I know that when I do that, it's amazing what I accomplish that day. It's amazing what I accomplish in that week or that month. And I believe this is the most powerful kind of spring cleaning you can do in your life for yourself. Because if your mind is cluttered with negative thoughts, that makes you feel bad about yourself. You'll find it difficult to experience lasting joy and fulfillment, no matter how great your life looks on the outside. You can be the richest person in the world with an amazing career and a loving family, but still be utterly miserable. It's all a matter of mindset. So have you had that experience?
I definitely have, yeah.
Yeah. So take a moment right now and consider your thoughts you think and the things you tell yourself, those tapes that we tell ourselves or we run in our minds, or those things we tell ourselves, those memories you replay in your mind, that the beliefs you hold about other people and what you might imagine they think about you. Well, you know what I say all the time, it's none of our business what anybody else thinks. But the truth of the matter is we do think about things like that, and we're raised to be concerned about how other people think. So I want you to think about, are those thoughts positive and uplifting? Do they make you feel good about yourself and the world around you? Or do they spark feelings of anger, jealousy, unworthiness, or shame? Those really bad thoughts, those negative thoughts. Does that happen to you, Michael?
Yeah, I sometimes admittedly get very caught up in what other people think, especially I think in what we do. That happens a lot, because especially when you're like a content creator, you do work that a lot of people listen to. There are going to be people, just because it's basically the law of nature,
right,
that are not going to like it and are not going to be on board with it. And you have to learn that, especially to take the constructive criticism, but the people who are just like over the top rude about it and they just don't like you, you can't let that dictate all your thoughts. And it can be tough to do that.
Yeah. It is a learning curve, and that even though you want to take feedback is really good. So good constructive feedback
absolutely
is excellent, and you can learn from it and become better from it. But you have to be able to discern the difference between constructive feedback and somebody who's really taking issues that they have and kind of throwing them up on you.
100%.
Yeah, and thinking that they're being helpful. So a lot of times I'll deal with clients who have family members who aren't in agreement with the direction that they're going with their business or their career, and but the client is so positive that this is what they want to do, and family members and friends, out of sheer love and concern for them, start basically throwing up their fears, their gremlins, their things that are holding them back, their own hurdles onto this other person, and kind of holding them back if they allow it. So we always have that choice. Remember, your thoughts determine your reality. So if you want to get better results, you need to think of better thoughts. But first, you need to make room for those better thoughts. That means clearing your mind of old stories, negative thoughts that are stopping you from showing up as your best self, so you can replace them with more positive thoughts that will help you get results you want. So, we're coming on to May, and I want to say happy May. This month, I want to discuss and focus on the theme of manifestation. So after all, spring is the season of bringing things to life. So my big question for you is this: what would you like to bring into fruition? And what steps can you take this spring to make it happen? What would you like to bring into fruition, Michael?
For spring?
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
What do you want to do with your life? What is that big goal and that big dream that you have?
Well, the big dream is just continue to, obviously do great things here, and also continue to make solid progression on my podcast. That's really
the Yapping Yankees, right?
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. It seems like you're making jumps and leaps and hurdles. You had a couple of big news announcements as far as how you're getting your creative content out there. So it's really good. Not to mention the rant you had, what was it, 2 Sundays ago?
Yeah, it wasn't this past Sunday. It was the one before that. Because
kind of lost your mind a little, huh?
Yep, because the Yankees have the Yankees have just had a lovely start to their season. Yeah. So it's created some ranting.
Yeah. I'm totally understandable, but it was quite enjoyable to listen to, because I did listen to the podcast, and wow, you really took off.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did. I lost it a bit.
I like it, but I think us as listeners, we love that. We love to get someone who's so compassionate and passionate about what you do. So maybe you, our listeners, would like to finally finish a big project you've been working on. Maybe you want to start your own business or get a different job, one that brings you more joy, fulfillment, and balance in your life. Maybe you would like to achieve a healthy goal, gain a much needed item for your home or business, or enter into a new relationship with someone. Whatever it is that you dream of manifesting, you can absolutely make it a reality. I guarantee you it can and always will be done. Matter of fact, the law of attraction says it can't refuse you, but you can't just think of it and sit down and don't do anything. You actually have to make an effort. You have to take steps, and you have to take action. First, you need to commit to a goal, right? You want to make a goal for yourself, and then consistent action towards it. If you take consistent actions towards it, it's impossible for the law of attraction not to deliver to you. Now, you got to be careful. You have to be careful how you specify what you're looking for. So if you say, I want more money, someone could hand you $1, and that is actually fulfilling that manifestation of the law of attraction, because $1 is more money, right? So you got to be very specific about what you're looking for. And also, if you're not willing to take consistent action towards what it is necessary, or take those actions that's necessary to make those dreams come true, then all they'll ever be are daydreams. And that's the difference. Mom and dad used to say, stop daydreaming. I love dreaming. I think you should dream all the time. That's where you get your creativity. That's where you start thinking about and realizing the things that you really want. But daydreaming means you're just thinking about it, but you're not taking any actions. And that's why my main manifestation challenge for you is to really commit to your goals and start taking actions towards achieving them. To help you do this, I'd like to share some powerful tips on how to shift your energy into manifestation mode and gain the momentum that will accelerate progress to your dreams, making it easier for you to achieve any goal you can imagine. So unfinished items on your to-do list become what, Michael? Energy blocks that prevent you from gaining that traction you need to reach your goals. So here's how to finally complete the task you've been avoiding and create momentum you need. So first, I want you to do this. I need you to go get a piece of paper and a pen, because I really need you to write down a couple of things. Here's something that you can do this week that will move you closer to your goals. First, I need you to identify a task that you've been avoiding or putting off. I have a list. I do a list of 100. And as I check them off the list, it's amazing the relief. It's like pressure that comes off of my shoulders because it's done. And I feel like there's almost space. It's similar to, Michael, when you decorate for the holidays, around Christmas time, there's stuff everywhere, right?
Yes.
And then when you take it down, isn't this like there's like all this open space?
Yep, absolutely.
Isn't it a beautiful feeling?
Yeah, especially when you take the tree down. A lot of open space.
Lot of open space. And it's beautiful. Sometimes I leave it like that for a couple of weeks before I start putting my pieces that I took down to put the Christmas stuff up. I leave it open like that and kind of embrace that openness. That's the feeling that you're going to get by checking these to-do things off your list. So something, the things that you're putting off, something that might not be fun, but will make your life better in some ways, like doing some important home repair, organizing your workspace, having a difficult conversation with someone. Sometimes we're avoiding that. We hold it inside. Those things are actually creating blocks. They're energetic blocks that are preventing you from really gaining the traction you need to reach those goals. Take those steps forward. Have that open space. And you need that openness. You need that cleaned up area of your life in order to have space to attract something new in. So next, I want you to write down your answers to these questions. Ready? What are the costs or consequences of you not taking action and crossing this item off your to-do list? What negative impacts is it having on your life? I have a really funny story. It's really very simple, but it was annoying as all could be. So every day I have an office in my house, and my office in my house is upstairs. So I went down, I get my cup of coffee every morning, and then I go upstairs. My little pup comes with me, and she climbs into her little puppy dog bed in my office, and I sit there and I do my work. I was going up the stairs, and I do this all the time. I walk up the stairs, I look to my right, and I see this cord showing. I'm a little OCD. Might have mentioned that a few times on the show. Michael, stop making faces. And I noticed this cord, and I really needed to put it on an extension cord so that it would swing where it's supposed to, so you actually don't see it. Every day, I would walk up the stairs, I'd see the cord and go, oh, I got to fix that. And then I'd walk up into my office, and I'd feel a little bit heavier, but it's just a cord. What's the big deal? Well, one day I just stopped. I put my coffee down on the stairs. I went down. I got an extension cord. I did it. It took me less than a minute. I got it taken care of, and there was this lift, this release. And I went into my office, and I noticed a significant difference in my energy. It's little things like that just kind of gnaw at you.
No, 100%. I've experienced the same thing. Something that there's even a pile of envelopes on my desk in my room right now that I just, and like 3/4 of it, if not all of it, is stuff that I just need to shred.
Right.
And I haven't gotten around to shredding it yet, but when I do, I know it's going to feel great.
Yeah. Are you one of those people? I know I do. I used to do this. I don't do it anymore, but I used to like take something and put it on like the stairs. And then as I'm walking up the stairs, then I'd take it up the stairs. But it's always like something, it was never completed. I didn't do it from the beginning to the end. Like bring it all the way upstairs, put it into the shredder and shred it.
Like sometimes I'll notice I'll put it in a place where it's like really hard for me to avoid it. So it's just like in my face.
Yeah.
I also have a very bad memory. So I just try to put things in a place where it's almost impossible for me to forget to do it.
Sure.
It's not easy.
Well, instead of doing it in steps, though, it's easier just to get it done. And sometimes I exasperate myself because I could have just gone upstairs and shredded it. What's the big deal? But now 100%. I have this other thing to do, which is sitting there staring me in the face. And now I have to like go, oh, all right, I have to go bring that upstairs. And sometimes I'll just walk by it because I don't want to do it at that moment.
Right.
So those are some of the things. So that's one question of the two questions that I want you to ask yourself. So what are the costs or consequences of you not taking the action and crossing these items off your to-do list? What negative impacts does it have on your life? The second questions are, what are the benefits of completing this task? How will it impact your life and how will it feel when it's finally done? The benefits for me is I don't have to walk by it every morning and go, oh, it's still there, I got to do it. Benefits is just one less thing off my mind. And that energetic relief was allowing me to then move on to the next thing. And because it was so simple, I was like, all right, it took less than a minute. This is crazy. I've been walking by it for 2 months. It took me 1 minute. Just think of all that energy I wasted thinking about I had to do it. And sometimes we have the propensity. I'm a list writer. Are you a list writer, Michael?
I'm not. The most I'll be a list writer is like putting notes into my phone, but okay. I will not like grab a notepad or a sticky pad and write something down.
Oh, okay. I used to have, I use Trello now, but I used to have, the 3M sticky notes like all over my wall. And then when I finished it, it was fun to take it down, crumple it up and throw it out. And then there's a space on the wall. And then when a lot of those sticky notes were gone, it was really nice, but it always got replaced with other sticky notes. So I love that about Trello because you can actually make a checklist, check it off, and then you see it getting crossed off on the, oh my God, it's so great. But I also love it because when I threw out those little notes, I also threw out some content that maybe I should have maintained on the Trello board. It may be crossed out, but I can always back reference it. So I really like using that. Have you ever used that tool?
I haven't, but even though I don't do it myself, I happen to think that the notepad writing and all that, I think that's actually a very good method to help remember things. I don't know why I don't do it more.
Yeah.
My grandmother has always done that. My whole life, for as long as I can remember, I'm 24. For all 24 of those years, I just remember anything, even to this day, that I tell my grandmother about how to use the iPad or what she needs to do. I always say, hold on, let me write it down.
Yeah.
I just think it's a really good tool for helping remember things. I should pick up on it.
Yeah, I actually use the notes on the iPad or my cell phone.
That's what I do. Yep.
I put the notes in, and now I have folders. I didn't realize I could make folders, so I make folders now and put the different content. So when I have an idea and I'm not at my office, I can just write it down, put it in the appropriate folder. When I need it, then I can go write that email, or when I need it, I can, add to my hashtags, whatever the case may be.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually acts as a really good place to keep all those folders. But again, the benefits of completing this task opens you up. Then I want you to commit to reading the answer to the second question every day, morning and evening, to keep the benefits of taking action top of mind until you completed the task for good. So it could be a large task. It could be a small task. I know I just crossed off 15 tasks that I had listed for spring, and I've already done them. And every time I crossed it off, I felt a relief. And I felt like, okay, this gives me an opportunity to maybe play more golf. I could go out and go on my motorcycle and not feel that heaviness of, I got to get home because I have other stuff to do, or I got to get to the office because I have these things to do. I literally make those lists, do the task, complete the task, and cross it off. Another thing is, have you ever been immobilized by just a stack of things that you have to do and you just don't know where to start? So you start like deflecting and doing other things?
Absolutely. Yeah. Frequently.
Yeah, I used to do that in my office, and then there was all these things that I had to do, and I would start here, and then I would go to something else, and it was like ADD girl. I was like my perfect client of a Super Bowl. I was like all over the place, not completing any one task. So then by the end of the day, you don't really feel like you accomplished anything.
I used to do that much more in my school days.
Yeah.
In school, I used to do that. I do it once in a blue moon now, but in my school days, I used to do that a lot more.
Yeah. I don't do that anymore because it's just easier. I take one task at a time, and I don't think of the other ones. I'm like, I'm just going to focus on this. I'm going to complete this, and then I'll move to the next.
Exactly. School's harder though because you get a lot of assignments thrown at you, so it's like a lot at once. But usually in adulthood, I mean, obviously adulthood's still very busy. Don't get me wrong, but in school, it's just different. Used to do that a lot more in my school days.
Yeah. And multitasking is multitasking. I'm not saying you can't multitask while you do something, but to finish a project is real important. Get these tasks off your life. Complete these goals. Your energetic blocks will go away, and then you can get a lot of traction on the goals that you really want to accomplish. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. We're just having a bit of a rant today, my style. Your thoughts create your reality is what we're talking about. And we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lorianne. Welcome back, I should say. If you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to be a guest on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne, just email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. And of course, follow us on social media. We are always streaming live. Wow, that was tough for me to say, Michael. What the heck? We are always live on Facebook when we do our shows, and we look forward to your comments and feedback. And feel free to drop a couple of comments or messages at our Healthy Lifestyle with LA Facebook and Instagram. Really appreciate you being here. So we were talking about a couple of things that you need to do, a couple questions you need to ask yourself, and identify a task that you've been avoiding or putting off, or a multiple. If you want to do the list of 100, you could always reach out to me. I'll explain what that is. You could reach out to me at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com, or you can go on my multiple websites. I have ldcstrategies.com. That's my marketing group. And I have monarchluminaries.com, and that is for mentoring and advising. So, and I do this a lot with my clients. I have all kinds of masterminds. Have I talked about the masterminds with you, Michael?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So we do masterminds where a group of business people get together. And then I also have a mastermind book club. So if you're ever interested in reading books, I sign one book. Everybody reads the book, and then we have a discussion about it. They're all to help you just refine your business goals and your business tools, and just helps you be a better person. So sometimes we're working on individuals like the 4 Agreements, and sometimes we're working on the book like Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Things like that are what we do in the book club. So that's also a mastermind that I orchestrate and I moderate. But okay, so we last left off in Healthy Lifestyle with the 2 questions that I asked you to write down. One was, what are the costs or consequences of not taking action and crossing this item off your to-do list? What negative impacts is it having on your life? And 2, the other question was, what are the benefits of completing that task? How will it impact your life, and how will you feel when it's finally done? I always feel a sense of relief. I feel lighter. I feel like I want to tackle more. It's really amazing. It's almost addictive as caffeine. You just want to keep tackling those items and crossing them off the list. That's why I love making lists. Crossing them off is the fun part. Actually, completing the task is too, but the crossing off is really, I feel very fulfilled and accomplished. Don't you? Yeah,
whenever I have done a list in the past. I mean, even like I told you, I do
even
the notes.
It's a mental list. I just don't. I don't remember all the things, and your mind gets all cluttered by trying to remember the list, that I prefer to write it down. It's also, by the way, scientific. If you write something down, you have more probability and chance of remembering it.
Oh, absolutely. That I definitely believe that to be true, because the rare times that I have done that, I have remembered better.
Yeah.
But there is even because as I told you before, I do it with the notes on my phone.
Sure.
There are even times where I'll just delete the notes on my phone, and that's also really satisfying, because it's not the folder's not cluttered anymore.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, I could definitely see more of a satisfaction of actually like physically crossing something off of a list.
Oh, it's awesome. It's just awesome. That's what I like it. You know, when you check it off, especially on Trello, you check it off and electronically puts a line right through it, and you can still read it, but it's just very satisfying. But so again, we had left off where you commit to reading your answer to the second question of the benefits of completing the task every day, morning and evening, to keep benefits of taking action top of mind. That's why we do things morning and evening. So if we start our day thinking about those things, we're going to most likely do them. And if we end our day going to sleep, ending our day and then going to sleep with them, it's going to kind of marinate overnight. It's going to be a thought that you're just going to really keep with yourself. And it should be positive. You know, we have a lot of negative self-talk, and we have to stop being mean to ourselves. You know, when other people be mean, it's like, why are you being mean to me? Well, why would you ever be mean to yourself? And I used to do that to myself. Nobody could criticize me worse than how I criticize myself. And I don't do that anymore. We're human. We make mistakes. We're human. We need to learn from them. And as long as you're learning from it and you're not continually repeating it, then it won't come up again. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah, when I was younger, and I know people say I'm still young, but when I was younger, like early teens, maybe even before that,
right?
I used to always just question why humans weren't made to be perfect, because I just always thought that it would be easier if it were like that.
It would be boring.
But as you it would be boring. But as I've gotten older, I have a bit more of an understanding of it, because if you don't make mistakes, you don't really learn anything.
You can't learn, yeah. And that's why I love the word fail. It's FAIL, right? So if you add a foot to the I, it becomes fall. And we fall forward. And what happens when we fall? When we fall, we get ourselves back up, right? So, and you see it if you watch a little baby starting to walk, they fall down, they get back up, and they fall down and they get back up. And that's what we do when we fail. We have an opportunity to get back up, learn from it, and figure it out. You know, little babies, they get back up and they go, okay, I'm going to try walking a different way. I'm going to try holding on to something. They solve the problem that's in front of them. Again, we're here to do two things. We're here to learn, and we're here to serve one another. So that's why we're not perfect, Michael, because we're here really to learn something so that we can go to the next level, take the next step, elevate and vibrate to a higher level. So, but I love that fail forward. Have you ever heard that?
I have.
Fall
I
forward.
definitely have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that. I love that a lot. So here we are. You know, you answered that second question. You're thinking about it at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, every day. This momentum you create by crossing off the tasks off your to-do list will make it easier for you to complete your next task and the next and the next. Like I said, it's almost addictive because you feel so accomplished that you want to continue doing it. And soon you'll find yourself making rapid progress to your goals and making it easier to attract the people and the resources you want and need to create the life you've always wanted. Right? So that is the power of completion. So put it to work in your life as soon as possible. The power of completion. So I love that thought process, and that thoughts create your reality, and completing those tasks that you have. And if you keep a positive attitude while you're doing these lists, you'll also find out that you discover that there are other things that come to mind. There are other things that bubble up that you didn't even realize you wanted to do. I know that recently I was rearranging the structure of my businesses. And when I was rearranging it, I realized something, that I prefer doing one thing more than the other things. And so I rearranged and redirected my business to focus more on the things that give me a lot of joy, and then also serve other people. And that gives me a whole lot of joy. And by doing that, there was this big relief. So I actually found and navigated through without holding on to the end result. Have you ever done this? Because I know I used to, is that I would picture what I want, and I would picture it exactly the way I wanted it. And when it didn't come out that way, I felt like I failed. But the reality was the version that came out was far better.
100%. That's also another key lesson I've learned in life, is that you can't plan too much, because you can plan, but often when there are a lot of intricate details in that planning, life is almost always going to throw a curveball at you.
Sure,
and it's going to go off course. And you just got to be ready to course correct at that point. You can't plan too much because life often gets in the way. And more often than not, I would say, a lot of our in-depth planning does not go the way we expect it to.
No, and the funny thing is you say we go off course, but is it really off course? It probably is tapping you onto course in the direction that you need to be, because I truly believe that where we're supposed to end up, that's already been predetermined.
Oh, I actually believe that too.
Yeah.
When I say off course, I mean just like from what you had originally thought.
Yes, agreed. Totally agreed.
But then where you end up, obviously that was where it was meant to. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening.
Has this happened to you? I know it's happened to me many times where I thought I wanted one thing. It didn't go that way, and I was really, really disappointed. But then where I ended up was far better. When I looked back, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God I didn't do it that way.
Yeah, last year was the epitome of that. I had a lot of plans for my future and a lot of thoughts that I was under the impression that were going to come true or that I wanted to come true. Then the virus happened. That's something that a lot of people experienced.
Sure.
And for a lot of people, their life ended up going in an entirely different direction. And a lot of people, when they look back on it now, they're saying, wow, that's not so bad.
They found the benefit within the contrast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that contrast being the virus and the things we all went through together. But a lot of people got brave. A lot of people put on, their big boy boots or their big girl boots and decided to go in a different direction. And now they're in a far better place. I actually had a number of clients who started up business, go figure, in April, May of last year, and are going gangbusters since. They were in the right direction. We know when we're on the right trail. We know when we're going in the right direction. When things are coming easily to us, that just like mind blow. That's really the truth. But the truth of the matter is the universe gives us signs and says, yep, you're right. And it just keeps laying like the bricks in front of you as you walk, or, visualize you're trying to cross water and it just keeps putting the stones there that you need to step on, and they just magically appear. The same thing happens when you're going down the right path. It just comes easily. And I know I've said that it's like, well, this is just too easy. And then I'm like, what am I saying? This is great, because life isn't supposed to really be a struggle. I don't know why we all think that we need to struggle all the time and why it has to be so hard and life is difficult. It doesn't have to be. We make it that way sometimes because we hold on to the end result. As a mentor, I'm like a lifeguard. So you're in the water swimming, right, Mike? And you're treading water. You're trying to keep your head above water. You're working in your business. And I'm the lifeguard on the coping looking down. I can really see everything. I don't have an emotional attachment to the outcome. You do. So maybe you don't make certain decisions because your emotional attachment to an individual or to a project or to a concept. I have an author as a client, and he gets emotionally attached to his sentences. Totally understandable. And sometimes you just have to say, just let it go, because it's so much better, so much stronger without that particular sentence. So we really hang on to things as humans, right? And what happens is when we release it, we're able to really see what it's supposed to be, where it's supposed to go, and then all of a sudden everything comes easily again. So back to the metaphor of me being that lifeguard, I can say, shark coming at you in the front, you got incoming from the back. We got to think about this. Sometimes I can look at, and mentors look at, the people who are in your employ, and we look at it and go, maybe these people should switch positions. I had a client who I was observing his staff, and we were having productivity issues in the company. And I just said, hey, it seems to me that these two people need to reverse their jobs. So person one, I don't want to use names here. Person one should probably be in person's two position, and person two position should be in person one's position. And let's just see if they're open to it. Let's give it a try. And sure enough, we gave it a try. They were unbelievably open to it. They were both in positions that were meant for them. They weren't happy about it, obviously. And when we changed them, just the light lit up in them, and they're killing it. And now that productivity level is through the roof. So sometimes, because I'm not close to it, but I'm looking from the outside, I get to see things that CEOs, presidents, owners of companies, managers can't see because they're just too close, too involved, and know all these things about the people that to me are unrelated to the right task. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I see that a lot, and it's really a very cool concept. So that kind of goes to showing up for yourself. That goes to really not holding on to the end result and taking that and navigating those waters and just going with the flow, right?
Yeah.
So, and we all are connected, right? And that's why it's so important to consider how you're showing up in the world and the impact your words and your actions have on people around you, because one small action can have such a ripple effect that touches the lives of countless others. And I'm sure you know what I mean. For example, when a coworker is relentlessly negative and complains all the time, it can really darken everybody's mood and make the whole team less positive and motivated, right?
Yeah, negativity is very contagious.
Yeah, it's bad. Have you ever been in a room where somebody walks in and all of a sudden you could feel the energy changes in the room by that one person's presence?
Definitely.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and you kind of you start to struggle because everything was going nice, and then that person walks in the room and they just drag all this darkness into the room. So the employees really begin to perform at a substandard level when that happens, right? And they get less enjoyment and satisfaction from their job, so you get less productivity. The result means to the company, they get poorer, right? The work environment becomes increasingly toxic, which causes our employees to do what? To take their unhappiness out on their friends and families. Because we drag it home. People talk about life-work balance. It's really, for me, I always describe it as a tapestry. It's all interwoven. So if you're having a good day at work, you're generally going to go home in a really good mood. If you're having a good day at home and you go to work, you're generally going to work with a really good attitude. But if one or the other is not right, first of all, you're not present wherever you are because you're thinking about what's happening over there as opposed to being here. And it's really a vicious cycle. So like the old poem says, no man is an island. What happens to one person happens to all of us. So the good news is positivity can spread just as quickly and contagiously as its opposite. And I love that. I always call negativity contrast. I learned that from Esther Hicks. It's contrast. I love it referred to as contrast because it feels differently when you say it. You still don't want to do it, but the positive to contrast is we need contrast to know what we don't want. And it helps us clarify what we do want. And successful people know very succinctly what they do want. And that's kind of like what we're looking to do and why your thoughts can create your reality. So positive attitude creates success. Make sense?
Yeah, I love what you said about bringing home to work and vice versa, bringing work to home. And yeah. I do that more than I'd like to admit. So yeah, that hits home for me. We all do. It's human. It's really human. It's very rare that people can compartmentalize. It's a really tough word for me. To put everything in a compartment and separate and leave home at the door when they go to work and leave work at the door when they go home. It's really hard because it goes into you and you really have to think about it. You have to release it. So positivity is a really, really good way of not carrying that forward. And when you show up in the world in an optimistic, goal-oriented, and powerful way, you really inspire others around you to do the same thing. So like when you come in a really good mood and you inspire the other Michael who comes in and he inspires you and vice versa. And my team, we inspire one another with great ideas. Those are the things that just make the world happier, and it makes your day happier. And aren't those days better? Yeah, absolutely. When mindset's better, there's no doubt that just the day seems to just overall be so much better. Yeah, we can literally make the world a better place by everybody being more mindful about trying to have a positive attitude. And we can change that negative into a positive attitude like within seconds. I use tools like Ho'oponopono. That's the I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Those 4 phrases that you repeat 10 times. That can change your thoughts and create a different reality by just saying that. By the 5th, 6th time, you are calmer and you're in a different place. Another thing to practice to change from a negative to a positive is
is doing gratitude, having gratitude. When you're feeling like you're in a cranky mood, start thinking about the little things that you're grateful for. Grateful for a pen, grateful for your laptop, grateful for your phone, grateful for your car, grateful for your family, grateful for, and if you go through your list of grateful, it is physically impossible. You could try it. It won't work. It's physically impossible to be grateful and cranky at the same time, grateful and angry at the same time. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Our bodies physically can't do it. So that's one of the most effective and satisfying ways to make your own life better, is to focus your time and energy on helping others. By doing so, you create a ripple effect that will bring more joy and fulfillment into the lives of their friends, your family, your coworkers as well. And all that positive energy will come back to you in ways you can't even imagine. I've seen it over the last year. It's really been helpful.
There's a quote that's very relevant to this that I wanted to say on the show. I don't know if you've seen The Karate Kid in the past.
Of course.
And have you
I went to school with Ralph Macchio.
There you go. And the follow-up show, Cobra Kai.
Yes, I watched the whole series.
Yep,
Loved it.
It's an incredible series.
Netflix.
Season 3, there's a very good quote, is very relevant to this show right now.
Go ahead.
It's said by Kumiko, Daniel's girlfriend that he was involved with in Okinawa.
Yes, sure.
She says a quote that Yukie had said many years ago, Miyagi's first love interest. She says, "Put good out into the world, and good will come back to you." So
yeah, I remember that.
That's pretty relevant to this discussion.
It really is, and it's so true, and it is very, it's very Eastern medicine, Eastern philosophy. But the truth is if you put good out, you get back to you. What you put into the world, you're going to get back reflected back to you.
Yep.
And that's the whole point. People are put in our life to reflect back what we're putting out there, so that we can learn from it. So that's a great quote. Thank you for sharing that, Michael.
Oh, no problem.
And thank you all for being here today. I'm going to ask you to think about a person in your life who's struggling in some way, and maybe one of your friends is finding it hard to get over a broken relationship. Maybe a family member is struggling to adopt healthier lifestyle habits, or maybe a coworker is having a difficult time dealing with an issue at work. Now ask yourself, what is one small action you can take to help that person? And once you're clear on your actions, make plans to follow through on it sometime this week. And remember that by helping to make that person's life better in some small way, you bring more joy and positivity in your own life as well. Again, thank you for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle. I am Lorianne Casdia. Until next time, play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big.